Hi everybody! We're going to do a full-scale review in this video, and I'm hoping you can see it. If you can't see it at school, then hopefully at home, because it should be a really good review for you. So, we're going to go inside a chloroplast. Yes, you see them all right here. We're going to go in those chloroplasts. We're going to pretend that some machine is pointing at us, and we get smaller and smaller and smaller, and pretty soon we can walk right in the chloroplast. Here we are just looking at the chloroplast, and we see those thylakoids. A bunch of them stacked together like pancakes are called granum. Yum, yum, pancakes, granum, thylakoids. So thylakoids are where the light-dependent reaction happens in the granum, in the thylakoids. Also, in the inner membrane of the actual thylakoid itself, that's where you're going to find the different pigments called chlorophyll, like fill, pigments, color, fill color, chlorophyll. Okay, so that's where they collect the light, and they use that and change it and make it into energy. So the thylakoid, granum, those happen that in the light-dependent reaction. So they require light as part of their recipe. In the stroma, that is where the light-independent reaction happens. So before we go into our kitchens again, into the chloroplast kitchens, we're going to talk about the reactants in the product. Now remember, the way they look here is not necessarily how they look when we're inside, because it looks like the CO2 and the H2O are together. So that's why we get it confused, because these two reactants happen in different areas. The CO2 comes in the Calvin cycle, the light independent reaction. And the H2O is part of the light dependent reaction. Now, even though they're both reactants, they're in two different kitchens, right? And the products that they come out with, what we might even call the wastes, the products, what they make, ends up being glucose and oxygen, which is how we breathe, which is awesome. Now, when we talk about products, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more when we go into the kitchen, a product is something that we make and it comes out, right? Like somebody made this product, it's a mouse, but it goes together with the computer. You can't just sit there and play around with the mouse if it's not plugged into anything, right? So it's just a piece, but somebody had to make this piece and it goes with everything else. So when we have the reactants, those products are the end products for photosynthesis. But there are other products inside the light-dependent reaction that need to go into the light-independent reaction. So let's see what we're talking about, because I don't want to confuse you. Just please remember that these here, the C6H12O6 plus 6O2, those are the products that come out of the whole photosynthesis. And these are the reactants that go into the chloroplasts to make this happen, so that the chloroplasts can make food for the plant to eat.